Hello and welcome to the Universe and Science Phenomena Iceberg. I'm Felix Warren and I'm here to walk you through it all, from unidentified flying objects to the speculative origins of humanity itself. In this video, we're going over level 1 of the iceberg. This iceberg was found in the Iceberg Charts subreddit, just floating around waiting to be explained. It was made by user Anon Marak. The link is in the description. Thanks for posting your iceberg. I'll explain everything the best that I can. By the way, the articles I use for this iceberg are also linked in the description. I really encourage you to do your own research on these topics because there is a lot of information out there and a lot of different opinions on what it all means. And I really want people to form their own understanding about these topics because that's how we really learn about subjects. I really like to organize things, so I decided to label the different levels of this iceberg. You can see my additions here. Not only have I labeled the main 3 levels, but I've labeled some sub-levels since the 2 bottom parts have so many topics in them. The main chunks of the iceberg are the surface level, the subterranean level, and the abyssal level. I'll talk about the subdivisions when we get to the levels that they're in. Okay, let's start at the top. Welcome to the surface level. At this level, you've probably heard of most or all of these topics. I'm going to go ahead and explain them all to catch you up on anything that you've missed. So put on your snowshoes and let's go! UFOs. UFO stands for Unidentified Flying Object, and refers to any phenomena in the air that defies identification and sometimes even any explanation at all. A UFO can be anything from anomalous weather to secret defense technology to, hypothetically, extraterrestrial visitors. The term can sometimes carry stigma with it since it has been associated with sensationalism and tabloids. Thus, the term UAP, or Unidentified Aerial Phenomena, has gained popularity in recent years, especially in use by the US military and government. Other terms have been used for various reasons. Notably, when describing UFO sightings on the job, US military operatives often use the term bogey. There have been reports of UFO-like activity as far back as history can go, and the further back the history is, the more difficult it is to determine what it is that people witnessed. Further down in the iceberg is the Nuremberg event, which occurred hundreds of years ago, still has no official explanation, and likely never will. Conclusive evidence that a UFO is something besides Earth hardware or weather anomalies is still being searched for today. The US government has for a long time seemed to have a policy of secrecy on UFOs, something the public became accustomed to since the mid-1900s. Project Blue Book was a US military research project on UFOs that occurred from the 1940s to 1960s, with little information released afterwards to the public about the phenomena. Since then, the US government has been evasive on discussion of UFOs, not only because of the stigma around talking about little green men, but also because of the likelihood that secret defense hardware, either allied or enemy, could be the explanation for some UFOs. Recently, though, there's been a new attitude of transparency regarding UFOs, aided by pressure from some members of the US Congress who feel the public deserves answers, resulting in public hearings on the subject. The Pentagon has now established an office to track UAPs. The office is known as the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, or AARO, and was established within the Office of the Undersecretary of Defense for Intelligence and Security. UAP footage was released of objects the US military has filmed recently that it has no explanation for. Thus far, the Pentagon has reported that it has found no evidence of extraterrestrial origin for any phenomena, but the AARO's investigations are still ongoing. The Fermi Paradox. In the summer of 1950, legendary physicist Enrico Fermi and his peers were having a lunchtime walk, conversing about the possibility of extraterrestrial life in the universe. Conversation meandered to other topics as they sat down to eat, but Fermi brought it back to aliens with an outburst of, "But where is everybody?" Everyone at the table knew what he meant without having to ask. Where is all the other life in the universe? This was not the first group of people to examine this particular phenomenon, by the way. It is simply named for Fermi because of how well known he is. There are 2 ways of looking at what is now popularly called the Fermi Paradox. Wikipedia summarizes them well, so I'm just going to quote it. The Fermi Paradox can be asked in 2 ways. The first is, why are no aliens or their artifacts found here on Earth or in the solar system? If interstellar travel is possible, even the slow kind, nearly within the reach of Earth technology, then it would only take from 5 million to 50 million years to colonize the galaxy. This is relatively brief on a geological scale, let alone a cosmological one. Since there are many stars older than the Sun, and since intelligent life might have evolved earlier elsewhere, the question then becomes why the galaxy has not been colonized already. The second form of the question is, why do we see no signs of intelligence elsewhere in the universe? Even if such civilizations are rare, the scale argument indicates they should exist somewhere at some point during the history of the universe, and since they could be detected from far away over a considerable period of time, many more potential sites for their origin are within range of human observation. That's the end of the Wikipedia quote. Now, there are some potential explanations for the Fermi Paradox that have been offered. I'm going to read off a list of them. Extraterrestrial life is rare or non-existent. Extraterrestrial intelligence is rare or non-existent. Intelligent alien species have not developed advanced technologies. It is the nature of intelligent life to destroy itself. It is the nature of intelligent life to destroy others. Civilizations only broadcast detectable signals for a brief period of time. Alien life may be too alien. Colonization is not the cosmic norm. Alien species may have only settled part of the galaxy. Alien life is already here, unacknowledged. While sometimes it is used as an automatic debunking tool in debates and budgetary requests, the Fermi Paradox was not constructed as an argument against the existence of intelligent life out there in space. It was an observation made of genuine human curiosity. But where is everybody? It's a compelling question, one that helps drive and contextualize the search for conclusive evidence of someone out there in the void. Ancient astronauts. Ancient astronauts are the explanation for various artifacts in cultural history that have no other explanation as to their appearance and other details, or that otherwise seem strange to some observers and therefore warrant explanation. Some of these phenomena are truly strange, such as the Nazca lines, where other phenomena could be explained easily by, that's just how our culture's art looks. Usually there is some aspect to the phenomenon that seems impossible without the intervention of extraterrestrial assistance or possibly time travel. You've probably heard about at least one of these from that guy on the History Channel. You know, the one with the hair. There are a lot of these theories, so I'll just go over 3 of them that are often discussed. First, there's the Nazca lines, a series of megaglyphs that depict many creatures if you look down at them from very high above. That's where astronauts obviously come in. It's been conjectured that the Nazca lines could be runways for UFOs, or otherwise meant as guidance for or communication with someone traveling in the air, with the presumption that it would be an extraterrestrial species traveling in a ship that could see the glyphs. Possibly the ships would have even helped the humans make the Nazca lines, or maybe extraterrestrials made the Nazca lines themselves. There is also the theory that structures such as the pyramids of ancient Egypt or the Moai statues of Easter Island were built with the assistance of alien technology such as flying ships. Some of these theories end up being debunked if there are scientific theories that turn out to explain what was before a scientific mystery. The movements of the Moai statues, for instance, have an explanation now in which the islanders were able to walk the statues across the island by rocking them back and forth with long ropes. And then there is the various theories that aliens taught humanity the skills they used to build their civilizations, which could have been anything from language to handicrafts to advanced technological inventions. These may have been preserved in religious literature and mythology. For instance, according to lore, the Watcher Angels of the Book of Enoch taught humanity many skills before rebelling against their creator deity. Perhaps these could have been extraterrestrial colonists who got caught up in political conflict with each other before they were able to finish colonization. Lost cosmonauts. Most people know of Laika, the dog that rode up in Sputnik, a Soviet-era satellite that made history as the first occupied Terran vessel to make it into space. Laika did not survive the flight, and there is a likelihood that she didn't even survive it into space. Lost Cosmonauts takes this grim and sad reality and hypothesizes the unthinkable, that the test pilots in the Soviet space program did not stop at Laika. Lost Cosmonauts is a combined theory and rumor that in the Soviet era of space exploration, the USSR lost test pilots in space in furtherance of the goal of being the first country to send a human safely into the void and back. The Lost Cosmonauts, presuming that they existed, would have been test subjects who paved the way for Yuri Gagarin's successful launch to become the first human in space. According to the Lost Cosmonauts theory, the exploration milestone would have come at the cost of human lives, the first human deaths in space, unreported and covered up until forgotten. Apparently during the Cold War there were rumors that this was the case, and those rumors proliferated wildly, even in trusted news publications, due to the lack of information from the other side of the Iron Curtain on what was really going on in the Russian space program. That and U.S. intelligence operations from time to time really loved using these rumors to their advantage to downplay Soviet accomplishments. Between these two factors, you have room for a rumor to really flourish. There are also many pieces of media that feature some variation of the Lost Cosmonauts theory as a fictional plot point in the story, which can complicate things when people try to remember real details about true events. Another factor wrapped up in this is that in 1968, Yuri Gagarin himself died while testing a MiG-15 aircraft. The incident's details are still up in the air, and there is no official explanation as to how and why his plane crashed. So there was a dead cosmonaut at the center of the Soviet space program all along, and his name was Yuri Gagarin. Even though we have extensive records of the Soviet space program to examine now, convincingly disproving something like the Lost Cosmonauts theory, especially so many decades after the fact, is really difficult when the government of the USSR no longer even exists. There will always be someone who likely believes this one because of the lack of closure on the Soviet Union itself. We'll always have questions. Planet X. You've probably heard the concept of a Planet X, even if it's not this specific one. The idea that there's another planet out there in the solar system just waiting to be discovered by a lucky stargazer is candy for the imagination. But this Planet X isn't referring to just any additional planet that we may find in the sky. It's a specific theory that there is a large, Neptune-sized object somewhere in the Kuiper Belt, an area of the solar system so distant from Earth that we know very little of what's in it. There needs to be something somewhere. This is because the movements of trans-Neptunian objects, the asteroids and dwarf planets and comets out beyond Neptune, indicate that something very big is in the neighborhood, affecting the movement of anything nearby with its huge field of gravity. There's definitely something out there. Planet X is the theory that that something is a planet very much like Neptune in its gravitational influence. In fact, before Pluto was discovered, scientists were expecting it to be much larger, and when it was found to be very small, they knew that there must be something else out there that they had not discovered yet, something that would explain the movements they were tracking in the planet and other objects they'd already found in that area of space. Planet X is only one name for this theoretical planet. Another common one in use is Prima Mobile, the prime mover. As planets must be named by the person who discovers them, there is no official name for this planet yet. So until its discovery, names such as Planet X will continue to be used for this trans-Neptunian mystery object. And that's it for part 1. This is just the tip of the iceberg, so stick around, subscribe if you haven't, for the rest of the universe and science phenomena iceberg to be posted in evenly sized, digestible portions. After they all go up, there will be a compilation for those of you who really like long play videos. And that's it! If you enjoyed this iceberg video, please hit the like button and comment with anything else you'd like people to know about these topics. See you the next time, and stay frosty.